your stamp. Now, this is a bright color, which is going to really brighten up this painting. So, say I want to have it just down here, just press it into your painting. Is the tool itself, and this is the Speedball material we're going to use. This is what it looks like when it comes in a sheet about, what, 4 by 6. They come larger, you can cut them up and make them smaller. But this is the tool, and the bottom unscrews and all the little pieces come out. It's nice because, like I said, as an artist, if I didn't have that little place to store them, I'd lose all those little pieces. And how you I did with this one is I cut it in half, and I would cut it again. You can just make them different sizes according to the stamp that you want. I love spirals, so this is one of my favorite ones. Now these are going to show. So if I were to stamp with this one and I didn't trim this out, these edges would show. So it depends on what you want. If you're using acrylics, you can always rub that off your canvas, but you have to beware that you have to, whatever you are showing is going to actually stamp onto your piece. Here's a smaller one that I did. Here's another one, almost like a snowflake in a way. Here's just little triangles. So there's different, whatever your favorite shapes are. Now, another thing that I do is I keep a bowl of water by my side because the inks will dry, or the acrylics will dry on your stamp. So when I'm done, I just throw them in the water so that they, and then wipe them off with a paper towel. Because they will get, now this one has gotten kind of messed up because, you know, I haven't been as good, but this is nice and big. I'll use this on a very large canvas. It's got a lot of me. This is just a lot of my marks. And here's another one that just has almost like a earthy print to it. And here's a couple examples of small pieces. I just made these up. They weren't quite finished pieces of art, but what I did was, you can see right down here in gray, I just took one of the small stamps. Looked like that one that was like the snowflake, and just stamped it right in there. It kind of just gave it an extra oomph, and it also gave it a piece of me in there. Here's another one where this is just that little tiny one with the lines on it, which is a nice little stamp that is unique to you. Here's the same with some more paint. There's a second stamping. Now these pieces aren't done. I'm still working on some collage here, but I wanted to show you what the stamps look like. Here's one where I just did the stamp on halfway. So that's basically using the stamps, and I had mentioned this in my previous videos. One of the things that happens when you're in a show, a lot of times you will be asked to, if it's a mixed media, you'll be asked to make sure that, I think it's like 75%, some of them even ask for 90% of what it is you're including in your art is all yours. So if you buy stamps from you know, a place online, then there's you'll have to say that that particular portion of your art is not all you. So the more that you can include you in your art pieces, then when you are signing off the block that your mixed media pieces are yours, then you don't have to worry about the stamps. Now there's stamps that you can make out of manila envelopes, out of potatoes, and yeah, that'd be a whole new video, but this is just to show you these particular stamps, and they're fun to make. Here's one where I just added a little bit of a opposite color to this one. Here's one I was going to do a stamp on and show you what it looks like. Here's just a piece of paper where some of the stamps, what they look like. They're really beautiful. And this was the one where I did not trim off the side. And it's just still beautiful. Let's see, this one is just, I wanted a spot down there of the black, so I just added the black. So here is a couple, let me do a sample. I have a notebook here that I keep my notes in. Now I'll probably put some stamps on here just to make it more me. So let me show you the different types of the, oh, let me show you how to carve it first before I show you the actual paint. And so let's take one, cut it up, and I'll just cut this one in half. Very easy to cut up. Christy, if you're still with me, thank you for hanging in there with me. I'm so new at this. Now, a couple things you can do is you can just wing it, or, let me cut this again. You can take a pen and draw a design on it. So this is one if you were to see a design out there that you really like and you wanted to draw it out first. So let's say I just wanted to do some more of these triangles. You can draw it out first, and it doesn't have to be exact. I'm abstract. If you're an abstract painter, then sometimes your precision doesn't have to be as precision as you think. So for me, I wing it. Now, I always start and I push this facing outward. You have to get used to how deep you're going to go into the speedball. Now that was a nice light carve. I'm going to do a little bit deeper. You can do them a couple times. So if you want to do it like on the edge, I start like on the edge, and then I just take it down, and then when I get to the end I kind of go down, and you can go back the other way and then dip it down. So here's another, and you'll get used to the pressure you need to use. I remember the first time I did these, I dug so deep I went straight through, and that's kind of thick, but you get used to how thick it is and how much pressure, because it's pretty easy to it's kind of, well, relaxing, and what is the word I And when it gets tinier, it gets a little bit harder. Okay. So there's your stamp. That easy. And you can imagine how making these your own is just going to cause your art to be extremely unique. Again, if I wanted just a triangle, what I would do is I would cut with scissors along the edge, because this is all going to show. This right here, this right here, this is going to show. So let me take a little painting here, and you can play with different types of paints. This is more of a craft paint. This is from Blick. You can use a fluid, which is more of this is not per se transparent, but it's more of it's a lighter got your beautiful stamp. This will be like almost a lighter color because I'm not reloading the stamp, but it gives like the appearance. Again, I will take the stamp, dip it down in my water. Now let me show you with a smaller stamp what the fluid looks like. I'm going to grab my notebook. Here's my notebook. What I do is I print off one of my paintings, and I just put it on top of something. It makes it, I can remember what notebook I'm working on simply because of the painting I've put on there. So I'm putting some of the high flow. This is indigo. And a beautiful blue. I love this even better than like the ultramarine blue. So let me just find a spot, press it down. That is, since this is not transparent, it shows up very brightly. So let me grab just a piece of paper. This is kind of like drawing paper. So I just want to show you again, and then I'm going to, that was the second print. I love how let's see what it looks like with a third print. It just leaves, you know, the paint has been taken off a lot of the spots, so it just like leaves little areas there. So it's just beautiful. So I'm actually going to use the same stamp, and I'm going to use some Goldens. This is a full body paint, just to give you an idea of the different consistencies. In fact, I loaded this up. Let me wipe my brush off, but I just want to show you how you can use a makeup sponge. If you've got a lot, I use these. I'll load these up with white gesso and do the sides of my canvases when I'm done. When I always have clean sides on my canvases. And so I left the grooves actually have some of that other blue. So let's see what happens with this one. And I shouldn't really be doing it on a canvas because it's buckling Okay, so let's leave that. We're going to add a little bit more of the high flow. Just kind of a couple places. Do a stamp. Isn't that beautiful? And a lot of that buckling is because I'm on, let me try it again, I'm on a canvas here. The reason why is my table, as you can see, is so full of paint. I didn't want this demonstration to get lost. So there's like the second or third print, which is wonderful because you wouldn't really be able to notice that in a painting anywhere. But you know it's a unique stamp of yours. So, just as a recap, this is the Speedball tool, and then these are Speedball, these are the soft carving ones. There are harder ones, but this runs about $10, and I think these are maybe about, I don't know, $6. You can get them in kits. You can get, get them single. So it all depends on how much you're going to use it, how much you want to spend on it. But it's just a very unique way to make your art very uniquely yours. There's like a ghost print over here. I didn't even notice that. It's so embedded into the painting that I didn't even see it. But I hope this was fun, and I hope that you'll be able to take this technique, and I'd love for you to share with me on the page your results of some of the things that you've done, and show me some of your unique, beautiful expressions of how you make the stamps so totally yours and